All right, guys, remember that not everyone's overly competitive with one another, right? There are a lot of people out there that are kind, that don't worry about competition. Like I have 2 degrees. I've gotten a lot of different jobs. Like I'm 44, right? So for me, I've done a lot of different jobs. You know, when you get to a certain age, I mean, I don't have any kids yet, but I'm a daddy age, right? You know, a dad kind of age, right? So I have it more together than some young people, right? Because I'm doing, you know, I have like my car salesman job pays more than minimum wage, not much more, but more than minimum wage, and I've got more experience, I've done more things, and I really feel my channel is going to be very, very successful, right? So when you have all those things in place, you really know that you have nothing to worry about. And there are a lot of people out in the world that are struggling, that have nothing going on, that really don't know where their next meal is even coming from, right? We live in a society now where people are struggling like crazy, right? So it's not very easy to, like, a lot of people can't even focus on being on YouTube and Zoom because they have nothing going on and no money, right? And it's really hard. I'm broke all the time, but I'm doing decent. So I mean, it's kind of like, well, what do you do when you're struggling to an extreme, right? Like some people haven't eaten for days, right? And there are people that are homeless that have gotten famous on TikTok and YouTube, like Ted Williams, TEDWILLIAMS. He was homeless, literally homeless, on the street homeless, and he did one video and it got him viral, and then he became successful, right? So it's possible for anyone, right? That's the whole thing you have to keep in mind. It's possible for everyone. It's rare, and it has to be something that you're either that you get, like, it could be any, like, like even back in the day, right? Well, we see celebrities back in the day, right? At that time, a certain type of person was a celebrity. Nowadays, the kind of people that are celebrities are different than those kind of celebrities. Like, you might have been a perfect person to be a celebrity back in the day, but maybe it doesn't work out for you now, right? But everybody has their niche, everybody has their talents, and you have to just go with your gut with what you're doing. But I mean, there's hope, right? Because you have to just really believe. But as long as you're paying your way and you're not worried about um, where your next yeah, like, as long as you're paying your own way and you can do the videos, you can do the videos, right? You have to remember that when you're younger, it's not easy to navigate through life as much, right? Like I'm like old enough to be a parent to like a 12-year-old, right? Or something. I'm not even sure. 10, 15-year-old, 10-year-old, I don't even know. So I mean, I have a lot of experience, right? For me, it's easy to do this, right? Like I can do this all day, right? I have a good job, like my car salesman job. I have, it's a breeze for me, right? Like I have a lot of energy. I'm very fit. I'm very focused. I don't worry about, all these things that maybe someone else's student loans and their channel's not doing that well and they don't have a good job and they're in school all day, right? And they don't have parents that pay for them, right? I mean, when I was younger, I had student loans. I never had anyone really to. I mean, I had people to help me, but if I had to, well, I had people to help me, which was good, but I didn't have that much, like not that much, like, but like some of my friends would help me or whatever. But I mean, I was living poor, like very poor, like very, very poor. Had nothing going on really, and I was always struggling, right? So for me, it was more to do with getting older and failing a lot of times. And not everybody has to fail when they're young, but I failed a ton of times, right? In order to get where I am now, and I feel very comfortable where I am now, right? Like people think, well, are you going to be Molina Marco forever? Yes, because I'm very comfortable. I know the strategy of how it works very well. I am very good at what I do, and like if I just did singing covers, I could still be famous. If I just did modeling, I could still be famous, and I look better than almost everyone in Hollywood. If I if I if I did comedy, I'm very, very good at it, super funny, I'd be famous. If I just did Marco videos, I could be famous. If I just did Molina videos, I could be famous. if I did like slightly like non-risque thirst traps all day, I could be famous, right? If I did motivational speeches, I could be famous. You know what I mean? Like I have a lot more options than a lot of other people, and a lot of people have those options too. I mean, they can do those things too, but I'm just very, very lucky to, and I do makeup tutorials, I do lots of things, right? I mean, we all hear of the celebrity that's like an announcer or like a book writer or whatever. They have like all these, they're like singer, dancer, model. You know, we all hear these people like with all these titles, right? And I have a lot of titles too. You know, I'm like a celebrity basically, but I'm not famous enough yet. But I'm like a celebrity, right? But in general, you know, until you find out what you're good at, it may not be to go to YouTube, but until you find out what you're good at, and it might be to go to YouTube, but until you find out what you're good at, you're going to be kind of wondering what's going on all the time, right? And in general, I think, you know, we have this ability to figure out where we stand based on how we see other people doing with their career. Like, pick a career that's going to pay well, you know? If you're thinking of two careers, whether maybe you want to be a dentist and you want to be, I don't know, a medical receptionist or something, right? Well, if the dentist pays more and you enjoy them both equally, be the dentist, right? Google what pay the job does, because then you know that it pays well, and you're not going to school for all these years, finding out that you can't get any money because your job doesn't pay well, right? And remember, guys, sometimes learning is a lot of failing, right? Sometimes it's a ton of failure, right? Don't think that it's easy sometimes, but don't be like it's impossible. But remember, everybody has to start where they are, right? Some people really have a really hard situation, for sure, and it's almost next to impossible, but it's not always impossible, right? There are some people that make it through the crazy situations, have done crazy things, lived a crazy life because they were struggling so much, and then they ended up making it somehow. You know, and the reverse happens. Somebody can be very famous and doing very, very well, and all of a sudden they're not doing well, right? But in general, if somebody's famous, they usually stay doing well, but you never know, right? Anyway, totally enjoyed the show, guys. Melina, darling, are you wearing the Catwoman cosplay again, darling? I think it's in order here, darling. I think it's in order. No. I know.